thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Bob, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. Wolverine #2 from 1982, written by Chris Claremont, penciled by Frank Miller, and inked by Joseph Rubinstein. Now, before we get through, before we get going, a couple of things here. Number one, I have playlists, and I'm covering all these things in reading order. So we are this issue, Wolverine #2, came out at the same time that the Brood Saga was happening. Okay? But it takes place after the X-Men arrive on Earth. So this limited series was actually released before, not during, it was just done before. So cuz where we're at, it's already 1983, but of course this was as I mentioned, was released. This Wolverine #1 was released at the same time as X-Men 161, I believe, where Professor X's kind of origin with Magneto. And then Wolverine #2 was released at the same time that the X-Men are now have been taken over. They're in the Brood's home planet. So, Chris Claremont then, I believe, reworked it so that it would fall, come back and do all that. But I always find it very interesting that this actually was released a few months before the events in which it would take place. I also have playlists. As I mentioned, I'm putting things in reading order. So this will be during the time that I will be posting this at the where it's supposed to go, I guess. So I have an X-Men playlist. I have a New Mutants playlist. I now have a Wolverine playlist. And I will also have a reading order playlist where I put everything. So X-Men and New Mutants and Wolverine, soon hasn't happened yet. X Factor, eventually Excalibur. Everything will be in one gigantic playlist, but then they will all each have their own thing going. So striking cover here by Frank Miller. Oh, goodness gracious. I spent like 3 minutes talking about all that stuff here. So let's go on. All right. Wake up, Wolverine. Wake up, Wolverine. And you can see smacks him. A woman's voice, familiar, but I can't quite place it. I wake slow. A sure sign that I'm hurting, not knowing where I am or what happened to me. She sounds frantic, terrified, and when I open my eyes, I see why. Their intentions are obvious. So, Frank Miller, who was doing Daredevil, by the way, I have a playlist of Frank Miller's Daredevil, and we've got The Hand, and he is really good at doing ninjas. And look at this. This is awesome. So, I treat him accordingly. Trouble is, they didn't come alone. And here we have this. Frank Miller is so good. Look at this. I absolutely love this spread here. Debts and obligations. Cripes, you sure know how to pick your enemies, darling. Who are these guys? And she says, they are called the Hand. They are professional assassins. I am Yukio, Logan-san. You owe me your life. And Wolverine says, I think I could have guessed that. By the way, have we met? He says, and look at all the arrows coming through. And so, oh, I'm sorry. I read it. I read it out of a professional sense that I could have guessed. I'm so sorry. I went this way and then this way. My bad. That's all right. And so after she tells him that she owes him life, Wolverine says, "That's so. Well, hold on, darling, because here's where I return the compliment." And then, of course, we have our credits here. Chris Claremont, writer. Frank Miller, penciler. Joseph Rubinstein is credited as finisher. Glynis Ween is the colorist. Tom Orzechowski, the letterer. And Orzechowski is also the letterer of Uncanny X-Men and New Mutants. So Louise Jones will eventually become Louise Simonson, is the editor, with Jim Shooter rounding it up. So, and great vertical panel. Frank Miller is the master of vertical panels. And so this is all narrated in first person. As I move, as adrenaline pumps through my system, my skull finally kicks into gear. The city is Tokyo. I'd come here looking for a woman I'd loved, Mariko Yoshida, and found her married to another man. For my troubles, I was beaten near to death by her father, Shingen. He meant to kill me, but he hadn't reckoned with my body's mutant ability to heal itself. Thanks to that, I can survive pretty much any injury. You can see here Wolverine kind of dropping her off and going after the ninjas. I also have enhanced physical senses. I'm fast, strong, mean, hell on wheels. But some people are never satisfied. They love to tinker to improve on nature. In my case, these bright boys decided to lace my skeleton with adamantium. And this ninja misses him as Wolverine dodges him, making my bones virtually unbreakable. Punching me is like hitting solid steel. Likewise, the other way around. So, Wolverine returns the favor and kicks the guy here. So, in the melee, Yukio and I get separated. A bunch of assassins converge on her. They draw blood. She doesn't cry out. She's tough like that. I love the magenta in the background. She's in trouble. She goes down, left arm useless, and the hand moves in for the kill. Something I forgot to mention: in addition to my adamantium bones, I have claws. They're retractable, forged in adamantium, and they cut armor plate as easily as rice paper. Love the screen tones being applied here. Absolutely wonderful. Look at Frank Miller. Oh, it's just beautiful. Love it. I love it. I know how to use them. Look at that as he jumps. Oh, wonderful. We tumble off the roof. I make sure to land on top. Look at that. He is so good at silhouettes. I figured the rest of these bozos will come around to save their buddies. I'm right. I expected a few assassins, not an entire cadre. And this, of course, is being done from Japanese. And so she continues thinking here. The hand comprises the finest killers on Earth, each equal to a dozen ordinary men. Wolverine does not stand a chance, she thinks. They were good, as you can see, as Wolverine has kind of thrown them. I'm the best. Look at this, for the love of God. This is fantastic. Oh, just love it, love it, love it. So Wolverine continues narrating up here. When I was an agent for Canadian intelligence, scraps like this came with the territory. I'd forgotten how much I missed them. I took a few heavy hits, but nothing I couldn't handle. I look around for Yukio. She looks fine, real fine. Sirens and screeching tires herald the arrival of Tokyo's finest. I hear 'em coming long before they arrive. I figure it'll be better for all concerned if Yukio and I aren't here to greet 'em. Cops and I don't get along. They can't abide scrappers. I hate cages. Besides, I have questions for the lady. So I gather her up. I gather her up and scoot. So you can see him picking her up and off they go. Later that evening at my hotel, I absolutely love this. Love this panel. Oh, Frank Miller. He can do some amazing things. I don't know what happened after Sin City. He had a couple of good things, like for example 300, but I don't know. Dark Knight Returns 2, and that was abysmal. Oh my gosh, what was that one where that terror, that one with the terrorists? I forgot the name of it. You'll have to forgive me for that one. Holy Terror, I believe it's called. That was terrible. It just so but man, his early work just beautiful. So again, I have a playlist with his Daredevil. Feel free to check it out because he is amazing. So all right, Yukio says, let me check your dressings, Logan-san. He says, no need. Don't be silly. How can... And then she pauses. How can this be? The wounds have closed. They're just scars. And he says, I heal fast. And she says, that's no answer. And he says, it's the truth. And Yukio says, a useful talent for a warrior. Yup, he says. Especially when combined with your unbreakable bones and those magnificent claws. Wolverine, could I acquire them? I'd give my soul to be like you. I'm one of a kind, darling. And what would you want them for anyway? And she says, to defend myself and slay my enemies. And he says, the hand? And she says, hi, that means yes. And the butcher who sent them. And what's it all about, Yukio? And Yukio says, their master is a crime lord of awesome power and insatiable ambition. He desires to expand his influence from crime to politics. I believe his ultimate goal is to rule Nihon, to become the power behind the throne. I fear him. And Wolverine says, don't worry, so long as I'm around, you're safe. And you can see he puts his arm on her shoulder here. And she pulls out a knife here. I can defend myself. And he grabs her arm. Whoa, darling, careful with that. And so we go back to his narration. Her attack is fast. My reaction instinctive. Instantaneous. Without meaning to. I heard her. She doesn't wince. Only half smiles. Like I've passed some test. And so you can see her cozying up to him. You're very good. Stronger or faster than you let on. And so we continue. I realized she was serious. If I hadn't stopped her, she'd have stabbed me. I noticed a faint scent on the blade. Familiar, but I can't quite place it. I filed it away for future reference. And she says here, I'm a tigress, Logan, but if you think me skilled in the arts of warrior, wait till you see me perform those of love. And he says, a woman after my own heart, eh? Among other things, she says. The chemistry is perfect, but I won't respond. My eyes see Yukio's face, but my brain transforms the images into Mariko. And he walks away. She goes, Logan, he says later, okay, I need some sack time, meaning sleep. You want me, you cannot deny me. We are kindred spirits. You and I, do not leave. Must I beg? She has pride, yet for me she chucks it, and I walk away. And so she thinks here, you will not do so again, Logan-chan. Shingen's daughter is not worthy of you. She will not have you. You are mine, she thinks. So, all right. Look at these beautiful color holds here. Tokyo's upper class Meguro district here. And so, again, silhouettes and, oh, just beautiful. Um, Tell Lord Shingen that his daughter and son in law are here, and they have been waiting for some time. And the secretary says, he is aware of your presence, sir, but as I have said repeatedly, he is in a conference and cannot be disturbed. And so this lady, or this person, looks like a lady. That's why I assume it's a lady. I haven't read these in forever, so you'll have to forgive me. I own all 4 issues and a trade paperback that includes all 4 of them. So I want to see Shingen now, she says. Perhaps I may be of service, young lady. I am Lord Shingen's associate, Nobudo Hideki, and yes, this is charming woman is my wife, Mariko. The other guy here says, do you have an appointment? And she grabs her. No. Oh, Lord Shingen, I could not stop her. She was most insistent. Shingen, no lights. How intimate. A pity this isn't a social call. And he says, I did not summon you. I will not tolerate such intrusions. Leave while you are still able. Who's going to throw me out, old man? You? So be it, wild one. You have chosen your path. Now you must walk on it. And she goes by the sliding panel, one of the hand. And so the hand goes to strike. She moves out of the way, gets the hat, and she gets him. Love again, the screen tones. Gotcha, she says. And Shingen says, why did you not kill him? Were your positions reversed, your soul would not have long since... your soul would have long since departed to join the goddess Ametersu in heaven. True, but now he has to live with the memory that I beat him. Death would be a merciful release. I have served you faithfully, Lord Shingen, yet you sent the hand to kill me tonight. That was supposed to be a deception to win me Wolverine's sympathy and his aid, but the hand was playing for real. So, be very careful, Daimyo. I'm a dangerous lady. You would not like me for an enemy. And Yukio... Yukio was working for Shingen. And Shingen says, how dare you address me in such a manner? I am Lord of Clan Yashida. You are a servant of my will, to be used as I see fit. Firstly, Wolverine would have known the difference between a sham and reality. For our deception to be convincing, the threat had to be legitimate. Second, although you are my premier assassin, your next target is protected by bodyguards of such superlative skill that even the hand has been unable to kill him. I had to be certain you were ready and worthy of this task. And Yukio says, Shingen, you are hurting me. And he says, yes. I have arranged a peace conference with Katsuyori. My representatives will be Mariko and Noboru. He believes I will not place my daughter in jeopardy. He will think himself safe. Then and there you will strike. But suppose something goes wrong. She says, love again, the screen tones being employed here. If Mariko comes to the slightest harm, you will die. Once Katsuyori has been dealt with, eliminate Wolverine as well. He will have served his purpose. Hi, Lord. Both men are as good as dead. So, we can definitely see Lord Shingen is very, very powerful. So, alright. So, we continue with the narrations here. Wolverine and her are swimming here. So, alright. I sleep around the clock and wake up as good as new. Something happened during the night, though. Yukio's edgy, shaken. I pry. She talks. She met with the crime lord, tried to settle things between them. It didn't work. She says there's only one sure way to save her, and that for a crime lord, a guy named Katsuyori, to suffer a sudden and untimely demise. I suggest an alternative. I'll make the creep an offer he can't refuse. Convince him that staying on Yukio's case will prove a whole lot more trouble than it's worth. Yukio says he's tough and mean and doesn't scare easily. We'll see about that, continues Wolverine. Yukio has been on the line. Sorry. Yukio has a line on where he'll be. So they're coming out. Love again. Frank Miller is so good. Um, you see Wolverine climbing, holding her, and then he throws the place is lousy with guards and just tosses them. No problem. And so Yukio says, "Those men should have. You should have slain those men." And Wolverine says, "No need, darling. They're tucked away where no one will find them, and we'll be out of here long before they recover. They didn't see us, so they can't identify who zapped them. Killing them served no purpose." And she says, "They're enemies. No, they deserve no less." And Wolverine says, or thinks here, "Bloodthirsty lady reminds me of me. Maybe that's why I like her." Katsuyori's a cautious bird. As soon as I discovered the Ribuki Theater, a remodeled castle in a park on the outskirts of Tokyo, is laced with ultra-sophisticated electronic and a mechanical security system, in addition to a small army of goons. And so you can see he goes through and he pounces on the guy here, all done in silhouette. Is this not absolutely amazing here? I make it look easier than it is. I doubt anyone could have penetrated the castle undetected. The farther we go, the warmer I become. The warrior I become. I'm looking for Katsuyori's ace in the hole, the defense, the trap. He figures no one will spot it till it's too late. And so you can see Wolverine and Yukio up here. The audience for tonight's performance consists of 4 people. I recognize 2 of them. So that would be Yukio, her husband, and then Katsuhori and probably his wife. So the husband says something in Japanese, and Katsuhori says, "How do you do, Noboru-sama? I too am pleased to meet both you and your lovely wife. I trust you will find this an appropriate setting for our discussions. Please be seated. The play is about to begin. I hope you enjoy it," he says. And so Wolverine goes, "Mariko, what's she doing here?" And so Naburo says, "Must we wait, Katsuhori-san? Our business." And he says, "Later, after the play. I'm amazed that Shingen, who professes to revere our ancient ways, would send an emissary so lacking in even elementary social graces." So he's letting him know this guy is rude as hell. So Noburo brittles under the insult, but masters his temper. I wonder what he did for Shingen to prompt the old man to marry Mariko to him. I know the play. Chushingura, the 47 Ronin. The story of the retainers of a lord who avenged his death by slaying the man responsible for it, knowing that such an act would mean their own certain execution by ritual suicide. It's a tale of honor, of loyalty, of the samurai determination to see a course through the end, regardless of the cost. It embodies all the qualities that the Japanese revere most in their national character and heritage. The performance is superb. This is one of the finest kabuki tropes I've ever seen. Then during the climactic lion dance, the high point of the show, the lead actor draws his katana, and the pieces suddenly fall into place. Katsuyori's playing his ace against Mariko and her husband. I counter the attack. The actor's a pro, a master of his craft. Without missing a beat, he shifts his targets from Mariko to me. We pass in mid-air, stage lights flashing off the sword and claws. So, wow, what a superb. He, um, his cut draws blood. So does mine. Oh, isn't this amazing? How wonderful. And so, look at Mariko. I face the rest of the company as they're as ready to fight as their leader. He took a gamble and paid the price. His colleagues won't be as flamboyant. I want to spare Mariko a glance to see if she's okay, but I don't dare. If you wish Mariko's chance life, you'll have to get past Maine. And then they say, then Gaijin, we shall. Okay, bub, he says in English. Your funeral as he goes through them. Is this not just beautiful? Goodness gracious. Pandemonium. I love it. As things get interesting, Kashuhuri and his wife break for the elevator. I commend you, Noboru. You anticipated my ambush, but your foresight will avail you not. My retainers will deal with your assassin, and then with you. And the lady here says, husband, our bodyguards. And he says, dead. The automobile quickly. Once we reach our estate, we will be safe. And so they get in, and then suddenly you hear the click, it explodes. And she, of course, had a bomb waiting in there. Comment real quick on the art on Rubinstein, his inking. Love the screen tones. This just looks so well done. I prefer Jansen as Miller's inker, but Rubinstein is doing a wonderful job. And she, of course, says, gotcha. And so, almost done here with our story. The scraps remain pretty much confined to the stage. That works in my favor. So do the odds. The actors have to be careful. They don't chop one of their own by mistake, whilst I can hit anyone I please. But they're good on par with the hand and trained to fight as a team. Eventually, their skill catches up with me. And look at this guy. It's a perfect cut. If not for my adamantium bones, I've been sliced in half. Bad move for them. It drives me berserk. Look at him. He's going to lose it here. In a matter of minutes. And look at that. Cuts them down. Oh. The battle is over. I'm the only one standing. The only one able to. They're lucky they're still breathing. I lost control. I feel sick. I feel great. I see Mariko. Another wonderful vertical panel. Oh, Miller is so good at them. She's never seen me as a berserker. It's a side of myself I never wanted her to. She doesn't bother to hide her reactions. So look at her. Oh, Mariko. She turns and leaves without a word, without a backward glance. I let her go. Whatever we might have had, it's finished. And look at Yukio. Logan-san, my beloved Wolverine. Gotcha. So that concludes Wolverine number 2. And it says here, next chapter, Loss. Wolverine number 2, Chris Claremont writer, Frank Miller penciler, Joseph Rubinstein finisher. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.